Kebab, the board game on a stick. Copyright infringement. Anyways, this is Kebab. It is a game where you'll be grabbing stuff and putting them on skewers to make matches and score your different ingredients. How does that work? Well, stick around to break and I'll show you how it plays at 2-player and 3-player because there's different rules for 4 and up. But the 2-player, 3-player is going to be covered after the break, and then I will tell you what type of game and how I think this plays out. I'm going to show you how to play the 2-player version of Kebab. This is similar to the 3 players. A 4-player game does play different. So what you're going to do is give each person a skewer, and they are going to get a special guest card. You're going to put the rest of the special guest cards up here as a draw pile. You're going to shuffle up the 10 guest cards and put them in a draw pile as well. You're going to put the grill token right there in the middle of all players. The first player to begin the game is going to be the person reading the rule book, or however you choose to do it. So what's going to happen first is you are going to flip over 2 of these cards. You then are going to pull ingredients from the ingredient bag. In a 2- and 3-player game, you're going to be grabbing 4 times the amount of players plus 1. The first 2 you pull, though, will go on top of the grill. Then that first player is going to choose one of the ingredients off of the grill and place it on one of these 2 cards to set up a scoring option for the end of the game. They're all going to be different, and what they are is on the back of the rule book. But for these first couple, it's odd or even. So for this odd one, if you have 1 on there, you're going to get 2 points. If you have 3 on there, you're going to get 4. Even is 2 and 4. So if I went and say, hey, I'm going to grab this shrimp here, I'm going to put that on odd. This then slides down for scoring. This card gets discarded, and we are ready to begin drafting our ingredients. The way ingredients are drafted is in what some consider a snake draft, which is going to be the first player is going to choose 1. The second player is going to choose 1. Then they're going to choose again, coming back to the first player to choose 1. And then you repeat that. So I would choose 1, they would choose 2, I would choose 1, which would take all 8. Now, when you take 1, you're able to put it onto either of your 2 skewers. However, each skewer can only hold 10 pieces. So when you choose, you can grab off the grill or on the grill. If someone takes the last piece off of the grill, they grab the grill token, and they'll be the first player for the next round. But say I'm going to look at my special guest card here, and I want to try and get these ingredients in this order. So there's 1 piece of meat out here. So I would grab the piece of meat, slide it on my skewer. My opponent would then go and grab a couple of pieces. Say they want to grab a pepper and a mushroom, so then they take the grill. So it comes back to me. So again, I am going to now grab 2 pieces. They've left me up perfect. So I'm going to grab my pineapple and slide it on here. I'm going to grab my shrimp and slide it onto here. So now I have these pieces in that order. So I am now going to flip this over and keep this aside for endgame scoring. And then I'm going to grab another one. By the end of the game, you can have a total of 4 of these. In a 4- to 6-player game, you can only have up to 2 of them. So that was my 2 pieces. Going back to my opponent, they would grab 2 more, and then I would grab the last one, and I'm going to say stick it on this skewer right there. That would be the end of the first round. We then would repeat that. They'd put the grill token out here. We'd flip up 2 of these cards. They would fill up here, drawing from the bag and choosing a card for scoring. We are going to do this over 5 rounds, and then we are going to score. So this is an example of what something might look like at the end of the game. So you are going to score 5 points for each one of your special guests you have completed. So in this instance, 15. You are then going to look at each card and score each skewer accordingly. So for odd number, you are going to look at each skewer. I have 3 on here, which is going to score me 4. I have 1 on here, which would score me 2. Next, you want them in a row. This is only 1 in a row, so 0. I have 3 in a row, so that would be 5 for that skewer. Having peppers in the middle, so we look at our middle ones. We do. So that's each one, so this would be 4 points. 2 points for ones at the ends. So we have 1 here, here, and here. And finally, you see if you have the most. So we'll just say in this instance, my opponent had more than me, so I would score nothing for that. You would total all that up, and whoever's most points is the winner. If there's a tie, play another game. But that is the basics of how to play Kebab. Again, there's 5 other scoring cards that score differently than these. But let's go ahead and get into my thoughts on this one. So there you go. That is the basics of how to play Kebab. So we are going to start our review process with inside the box. I will say the food pieces, as you saw, they're nice. They are chunky. They are well designed. Woo, I just dropped one. I will say, though, I forgot that we were grilling stuff. So at first when I saw this, I'm like, look, it's a piece of cheese. It's not. It's pineapple. But I digress. So the bag itself, also, that's why I have this out to show you. It is a great size. I can easily get my hand into it that way. It is deep enough that you can easily mix the stuff. It doesn't feel all shoved together and all that. You can get a good mix and everything with the bag. So that is probably one of the better bags I've had in a game. It's not too large. It's not too small. It fits everything just right. It is the Goldilocks of bags, in my opinion. I know I said a lot about bags, but I'm very particular about my bags. I will say my one concern with the components, and this would be more for possibly people who are playing with a little bit of younger kids, is the skewers themselves do feel a little bit thin, a little bit bendy, so they might seem a little bit flimsy to people, and you might have a concern about breakage. That is kind of really my own concern. The rules, although, are written fine with great examples. So as I said, for inside the box, my only concern would be those skewers. As for 2-player changes, it's a change for a 2 and 3-player game in this instance, and that is basically you're going to be drawing out more pieces. You're basically drawing out twice as many pieces. You're doing twice the number of drafts, and you are doing twice the number of skewers. So in essence, you're playing twice as much game as the 4 to 6 players, which, good, bad, that is entirely up to you, but those are what the changes are. The gameplay itself is simple and straightforward. This is one that will be a quick teach. It's literally going to be, you saw how it is. It's literally flip over a card, draw out some pieces, put a piece on the card, everyone takes some pieces. Especially if people are familiar with the term snake draft, you can cut out a ton of explanation right there. Just say, hey, we're about to do a snake draft, and you're done. And with that, putting the pieces on the scoring cards. That's another element I like, to where it's not this massive deck of all these different scoring options based on the food. It lets the people determine what they want to put on there and what they want to score, which does in turn make that first player even more valuable. Because, initially first player, all right, well, you get 1. Okay, but if you're in a 2-player game, the first player gets 1, but that next player is about to get 2 in a row, so it's easier for them to plan on what they want to grab. But that first player gets to set what's scoring, so they can make sure it's better for them or even worse for their opponent. Like, I know the one example was when we were playing, I saw like, hey, if I choose this one, I get 2 points, but they get 5. Where if I get this one, I get 1, but they don't get any. Yes, I'm losing a point, but they're losing 5. So I ended up going with the other option, and then that was something that I could build for in those last couple of turns. So that first player being able to set that scoring option makes it where sometimes you may take that thing off that grill just to get that first player token, just so you can make sure that you're going to score what you need to score for. And then the whole fact that the turns are engaging and tactile by actually grabbing the food, putting on your skewer, and so forth. They easily could have just done a bag of tiles or a deck of cards and you just laid it out in the row. But the fact that they did choose to do the skewer and the 3D tokens and the wood bits and all of that really does add that element to gameplay of that tactile feel of actually making your skewer, and it looks really cool. So overall, I would say this is a good entry to the family games that would be easy to get to the table. Like I said, not a lot of rules overhead, very quick gameplay. I think the one game that me and the youth played, so the box says 20 minutes, I would say that was the most that it took us. We possibly even got it done quicker because the less players you have, the quicker you can go around the table. I would have preferred a bit more info on the guest cards. It is covered in the rule book for like the even one is for 2 and 4. I think I would have liked that actually on the card so it's displayed on the table, public knowledge, and everyone can easily see it as opposed to constantly having to reference the rule book. So just that little bit of extra touch to those guest cards to make it more intuitive and to explain it more. And kind of touching on those scoring cards, that while the scoring can change from game to game, there are only the 10 scorecards. So you will see all of them each game. And then, of course, the ones that are chosen in the food will add that level of replayability. But I do feel like they could start feeling a bit samey. And that also could be where someone could start doing a bit more take that, where they could just start putting a lot of the same food on there. So that way your scoring might not be as dynamic as you would want. So there could be that hiccup there, dependent on people who are playing it. But even with all that, I will say that it could still be used as a fun filler game or the starter of the night. Or if you're all sitting around waiting for your kebabs to be done on the barbecue, this is one that can easily be played. I mean, wind could affect the cards themselves, but outside of that, nothing else is going to blow around because they're wood skewers, they're wood bits, they're in a bag. So this is a game that could be played outside, especially if you're able to put a little bit of weight on those cards, especially because once you do the guest cards, you have the piece of the wood piece on it that can hold it down. So this is one that you could play around waiting for the kebabs on the barbie. But overall, though, I think I will say that this went okay. I am going to give it a 6 out of 10. I will play it if I'm in the mood. But I will say that that is very indicative of this household. If you are a family who has maybe younger children, or you want a game that like all skill levels can play for like a family gathering, then this is one that I think you should check out. This is going to be one that will tailor itself more to, like I said, those family gatherings, those barbecue get-togethers, and so forth. Not necessarily fully integrated into a game night for people who want those heavier strategic games. So for us personally, I'm giving it a 6 because it's one that we'll bring out on occasion. But again, if you are looking for that family level game with a fun tactile experience, then you'll probably rate this one higher than I did. Alrighty. So with that being said, if I could go ahead and get you to head down below and hit like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, comment, let me know what your favorite kebab ingredients are. And if you like to say kebab or kebab, I go either way. It depends on the day. In addition to that, you can go ahead and join our Patreon. You can hit up our Ko-fi, or another thing you can join is this channel down below, where you can get exclusive perks such as seeing videos early and certain videos that we post only to our members. If you're looking for games, you can go ahead and hit Miniature Market using our affiliate link down below, where if you will make a purchase while using that link, we do get a portion of sales back to help run this channel that you are watching presently. Alrighty, so throw one on the barbie.